Hello and welcome to Critical Strike, episode 53. I'm Josh Bicknell, and here with me is Pete Dodd.
Hi.
And Mr. Kyle Dumond.
How come you never introduced me first?
Because I don't like your face.
And so the story's told of a hardy group of men. It's a tale of their triumphs and their woes. Be it raids and melees ancient, or the modern workers' struggle that inspires men to stand up for their rights. And should we fall down by the wayside in this ever-changing world?
Fucking bird. And so the spring weather begins.
Whoa, wait a minute. You didn't do your little, your in-between music.
Yeah, well, that's because there was a bird, Kyle.
Okay.
Do I really need to do the in-between music
Yes,
when we have a bird?
Yes, you do. I mean, you've completely thrown me off.
All right.
There we go.
All right, there you go.
Thank you.
You're
now
welcome.
we can continue on with this podcast.
All right. Dude, I can't believe the birds are already awake and we're already getting the chirping.
Dude, it's been a pretty awesome past 2 days.
It has.
How has it been in New York, Pete, actually?
It's like 70 degrees. It's been amazing.
You got better than we did.
Yeah, we're like 71, 72 here.
See, we're about like 65. Figures. New Hampshire gets the worst weather to fake New Englanders.
I had a barbecue today. In fact, it's still going on right now.
I actually did grill some stuff today. I made some burgers.
Yeah, that's what I did. Made some burgers, some hot wings, steamed some vegetables, grilled some potatoes.
There you go. Very nice. And so we're back. Gonna do another episode. Hopefully, maybe this might be like the last one for a while that you'll hear pre-recorded. Maybe we'll do something live.
Oh my God, are there changes on the horizon?
Possibly, like actually being able to make Kyle speak properly.
Wait a minute, what?
What?
Don't make me get drunk again. You wouldn't like me when I'm drunk.
You know what? In fact, Kyle, I think you owe the listeners an apology.
You know what? I talked to a few of the listeners. Oh my God. No, it's this freaking medicine I'm taking because of my strep. But I talked to a few listeners, and they thought that episode was hilarious.
No, when we talked about it, what did I say to you?
You thought it was horrible, and that I was way too drunk.
But
And
did
then,
I say
you called me an alcoholic.
anything? Did I say?
And then you said I had a problem, and I should stop drinking because you worry about me.
Well, honestly, I never said any of that. But
I'd like to think you did.
I did say that I did think you have a problem, but not of the alcohol nature. I think that you suck a little bit too much cock. But nonetheless,
That's probably why I got the strep throat.
I told you that I think that it wasn't good, and I wasn't happy. But whatever.
We didn't re-record.
We didn't re-record, and you're not allowed to drink on the show anymore.
Well, I can't be obvious about it.
If I get one little, like, ice cube sound,
But I'm drinking a seltzer water right now.
I'm going to fake New England and kicking your ass.
Oh my
That's
God,
right,
we're not going to get into this friggin' argument again.
Wait, you're both from fake New England.
No. New York. Oh my fucking God. New York is not part of fake New England.
Yeah, but he's from Connecticut.
Oh.
Yeah,
What
I'm in Connecticut as we speak.
In Stamford? I hate that place.
No, I'm in North Haven.
Oh.
Way to judge, Kyle. Way to judge him.
Dude, that's a fucking drive from New York.
Yes, it is.
It was like an hour and 15 minutes?
On a good day. When I drive in on Friday afternoon with traffic, it takes about 3.5 hours.
Why the hell do you work there?
Because I lived here and I moved to New York to live with my fiance. But
Does she have a good job?
She has a good job, and I have a decent job with amazing benefits, and I can't find a job in the city that has the same benefits. And she works freelance, so she has no benefits. Therefore, I must keep this job with the benefits.
She does have some benefits. She gets to see a lot of naked chicks.
Yeah,
That's an awesome job.
she has.
But then again, I have the internet, so I could do that right now. In fact, I think I will.
So, yeah. I think now we
boobs.
should get on with the show because Kyle's looking at porn.
Yeah, I think I'm good and primed to do the show now.
And the birds are going. And so, Kyle, what have you been up to as of late?
As you probably have guessed, I have had the fun little few days with a little virus known as strep throat, which wasn't too great because I had a sore throat for about a week, and then I said, fuck it, I'm going to the doctor, and she's like, you've had strep throat for like 2 weeks. What is wrong with you?
Did you really?
I had it for a while.
You sounded fine on the last show.
The last show I was drunk.
Yeah.
And that was actually the beginning of it. Like, since then, it's been progressively worse. And then she gave me a Z-Pack. And I found out that I'm among the 5% of the population that's affected by the full range of the side effects of a Z-Pack.
So what are the side effects?
You shit your brains out.
That's what I was about to say. Do you get the shits?
Like, oh my god. Every 20 minutes.
Wow.
So we better make this quick.
No, I mean, actually, yeah, I had some super hot wings.
Podcast over.
Yeah.
Kyle's got to poop.
I might have to duck out every once in a while. Maybe I'll be lucky and I'll take the laptop with me.
No, let's not do that again. No.
Oh god.
I should add some epic. I should add some epic music to that, like the God of War theme or something. Kratos.
But in gaming wise, Nancy gave me Final Fantasy XIII as a thank you for helping her family with some like video game problems and computer stuff.
That's awesome. Yeah, I saw your tweet that she got it for you.
I know, it was like, she's like, I got you a surprise. I'm like, is it Final Fantasy XIII? Because she had gotten it that day, and she's like, no, it's not. I'm like, okay. Then we do like this sort of like a 20 questions game, but I don't know, in the back of my mind, I'm like, it's Final Fantasy XIII, and then it was, and I'm like, oh, awesome, this is great. I really wanted to play this, and
But
I played it for.
It's the inferior version, though, right?
It's the 360 version.
Yeah.
Why is it inferior?
Apparently, there's a lot of artifacting in the cutscenes and stuff like that.
I haven't noticed any, and I think I have a pretty good grasp on it. In 2 hours, there's been a cutscene every 2 seconds.
Yeah, but you know, when you say that there's been a cutscene every 2.5 seconds, though, they don't feel like cutscenes to me.
Well, that's pretty much what a Square game or Squeenix game is now. It's you're playing through a movie, loosely playing through a movie, and then it's interrupted by combat.
Well, they've always been like that.
Yeah.
But, like, still, like, these, kind of like how Uncharted 2 did it, like, these don't really feel like I'm watching a cutscene. Not like, as Billy put it, like Metal Gear Solid 4, where it's all cutscene. But, like, this, like, when it would go from a video to gameplay, it was a very even transition between the two. There was nothing like loading. Okay, now you get Snow yelling at somebody, and oh, look, he got punched out. Okay, now I gotta beat this boss.
Those names are absolutely fucking retarded.
I like the names.
Snow, Lightning, Hope. There's a kid named Hope.
Well, he's the hope of the people, because moms are tough.
I know. Oh god, I'm like, that lady is so gonna eat it. Oh,
how far are you into the game, Kyle?
Like 2 hours in. Like 3 of my groups are now on the thing. No, I don't know.
So basically, you just started the game.
Yeah, pretty much at the very, very beginning. But they're throwing around names and terminology at you so quick.
Well, they should. I mean, it's a Final Fantasy game.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm like, okay, there's Lussie and Falsey, and then there's Cocoon, and then I don't know. It's sort of confusing, but then again, I really haven't devoted much time to it because for some reason I dropped it like the moment Bioshock 2 came in the mail. I don't know why. I really want to play Final Fantasy XIII, but I've been playing Bioshock 2.
See, I think Pete would yell at you for that.
I want to yell at myself for that.
Yeah, that's a crime.
I mean, Pete has God of War 3 right now, but he's not playing it because he's playing Final Fantasy 13.
But the combat is different.
You don't know about the combat yet.
Yeah,
you don't get a full grasp of the combat until like 5 to 7 hours into it.
I can see how it can be pretty cool because it's sort of a similar combat system to Xenogears and similar to the Skies of Arcadia, where you sort of have a pool of action that you can take.
Well, it's kind of Final Fantasy XII meets like the active time battle system, is all it is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Final Fantasy meets like
comparing it to 12 isn't working in your
White
favor,
Knight
Josh.
Chronicles and
I've never played that, Josh.
Monster Hunter, whatever, you know. Well,
I would like to play it, but I have not, so I really don't know what you're talking about.
well, I mean, it's very similar. This is not like a complicated battle system by any means.
No,
I mean,
it's definitely a hit A for the win button.
No, it does. Like Pete said, though, you don't know the battle system right now.
Okay, I will
It
have
does
to take your
open
word
up.
for it.
Yeah.
Especially,
It gets to the point where you have to come up with these really sort of complex groups of classes and hop
thank
between
God.
them at a moment's notice. Depending, especially in boss battles later on, you have to almost, when you see them doing a certain move, you have to switch into a certain group and then switch into a different, and it gets to be very complex.
All right, fantastic. Once I hit that point, I'm pretty much going to be addicted to that game.
Yeah.
like, I don't know if it's so much of a spoiler to say, like, of how you get the summons. Do you think it's a spoiler, Pete?
Nah, don't tell me.
Well, then you're
don't-
really
don't.
limiting what we can say about the game, Kyle.
I don't think
think
that's
it's
necessarily a spoiler. But,
Yeah, I don't think that's a spoiler
But
at
it's
all.
going to be a
actually.
spoiler for me because I want to find out on my own. On my own, Josh.
I need your
my
headset right
own.
now. Okay. But, like, it does get really in-depth, though, especially, like, when you go into the Odin fight.
Yeah.
And you and I were talking on Skype, actually, when I was doing it, and you have to come up with what classes you're going to use against him. Like, I think Mick used, what was it, Ravager and Medic, maybe? Mm-hmm. Or Saboteur and Medic, or whatever. And you swap back and forth, trying to keep your guys up, but you never necessarily attack Odin.
Yeah.
Or I didn't, at least.
Yeah. Different things please them in different ways, so you have to kind of use all of your abilities and use them sort of in succession. You can't just spam it. I mean, where Kyle's at, it really is you just hit auto battle and you win, but it gets to be so much deeper than
Right.
that.
And actually, what I've been thinking is the way the boss or the summon battles are. Those are kind of like mini tutorials to get you to understand what you need to do in the battles later on in the game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because they'll get you used to swapping between your classes and thinking of different combinations. Because, like, when I fought Odin, I didn't have the combination that, like, Mick used. And I had to actually go in and custom and create one to actually fit for that battle. And it worked out. Like, on my second try, I beat him.
Yeah.
But it is, like, Kyle's totally wrong about how the game is just hit X, the win button.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is that where he is in the game. I mean, I remember thinking the same things that Kyle was saying, was like, okay, here's these funny names and here's all this stuff that they're describing and I have no idea what they're talking about, and every fight I get into, I hit an auto battle and I win. I mean, that is kind of how the game starts. But then, you hit about the 5-hour mark and all of a sudden you start recognizing the names, the story starts making sense, you start liking all of the characters quite a bit, making you not care, I hated the name Lightning. Now Lightning's like one of my favorite Final Fantasy characters ever.
Yeah,
at this point. So it's like everything changes.
There were a lot of groaning moments at me in the beginning. It's like, well, it's time to be the hero.
Yeah.
And there's no option to change it to the Japanese track that I've been able to track down.
I don't think it has it.
No, it doesn't.
Oh my god. That is awful.
Well, I think that because the way that, I don't know about on the 360, but I think on the PS3, the audio is completely uncompressed. So it's actually like filling up the disc with all the full audio.
The girl in the beginning with the freaking pink hair annoys the
Vanille?
shit out of me.
Oh,
Really?
I love her.
I love her.
She has like a fucking bubblegum voice. It is so annoying.
No, dude, like, again, though, this is like your part, you're really early on and you don't know her as a character yet.
Yeah.
Like, once you get to, I would say, like, the 5 or 7 hour mark, you're going to love her.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd say around, like, the 10 or 12 hour mark, you'll start to like Hope. Hope bothered a lot of people early on. He didn't bother me at all, though.
Yeah, he bothered me. But he is, I mean, Hope is kind of a stereotypical JRPG character. There's always the wimpy kid that through the game turns into like the tough and wiser, slightly older kid.
I would say in like the 3D era of JRPGs,
Yeah.
but like since like I don't know, Final Fantasy VII.
Mm-hmm.
Because like you can call Cloud the wimpy, whiny one.
Yeah.
You know, and Titus was it in 10.
Mm-hmm.
No way. Waka was the whiny one. He was
No
always
way, dude.
bitching.
Waka was amazing. I wish I had hair like that. Comes up and like kind of flows up in the front. And play blitzball. That's another thing too. Like, is there anything like any mini games in this? I haven't seen any yet.
No, there are no mini games at all.
That's kind of a letdown.
It is. I saw an interview with, I don't even remember which guy it was. I get all of the Squeenix guys' names confused, but he was saying that for Final Fantasy 15, you're more likely to see things like mini games and full towns and stuff like that, because now they have, was it Crystal Tools? Is that the name of their
yes.
engine?
Something like that.
Now that they have that done, they can spend a lot more time building, extra stuff.
I don't remember who I was talking to. It might have been Billy. And he was saying, I can't believe this took that long to make. Mm-hmm. I was like, well, you got to remember, Final Fantasy XIII started as a PlayStation 2 game.
Yeah.
They were almost done it on the PlayStation 2. Mm-hmm. And then they ended up holding off and retooling everything and recreating the engine for the PlayStation 3, which I don't know, it was called the White Engine early on. Mm-hmm. And then it became the Crystal Tools engine. And I actually now, like I've said it numerous times, I want other companies to use this engine.
Yeah, the engine's amazing.
Seriously, like how I said earlier, the transition from gameplay to cutscene is just about as good as Uncharted 2.
Yeah.
But it looks better, in my opinion, than Uncharted 2.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, it's definitely up for debate, and they're doing different things. But the Final Fantasy engine is so versatile. Like it does this really sort of trippy, beautiful stuff, and then it does these amazing, like scenery and cliffs and mountains, and then it does giant ships. It does, it can do so much stuff. Where Uncharted looks amazing, but Uncharted does villages and woods. That's like all it does.
Yeah, well, like when I was talking to you, and I don't remember where I was at the point, but I was in one of the really linear areas where you're literally just going down tunnel, even though that's most of the first game. But in this area, you felt like you were really limited. But then you mentioned to me, a waterfall and stuff, where you fought that dude, that little creature for like 10 minutes. Mm-hmm. And then I got to that point, and I was like, holy shit, man. If this was an open game, this would be literally one of the most beautiful things I've seen.
Yeah.
I mean, because it had the monsters roaming around. They had the kind of like the White Knight Chronicles, like cliffs and waterfalls and everything, but it didn't have that grainy filter that White Knight had over it.
Yeah.
And it just looked so good.
Yeah.
Like that, if they use this engine again for Final Fantasy 15 and that's more open, then I think I'm going to say it now, we're going to probably have one of our best looking games around.
Well, I have, I don't know what's considered a spoiler or not.
And Kyle's not here right now anyway.
No, I'm back.
But I mean, it's widely known sort of across the internet that chapter 11 opens up and becomes an open world. And I am just about to chapter 12, so I've seen everything. Like chapter 11 literally is its own role-playing game. It's an open world. It has like 25 hours worth of quests. There's monster hunts. There's everything, and it's gorgeous. It's like
so. It does end up having side quests and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's all stuff, and you don't have to do it when you get there. After you beat the game, the game will dump you back into that area.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so it's not like you have to decide, okay, do I want to do a side quest or do I want to continue with the story? You can decide to just continue with the story and save all the side quests and stuff for afterwards. And it makes sense from a story perspective too, which I can't get into because I will get spoilers, but it makes sense why that's okay. But it's amazing. I mean, it really is its own role-playing game, just that one chapter. It's a huge world. There's tons of monsters. It's gorgeous. It's, you can see forever, and it's just, it's amazing.
Wow. I'm like, now I want to get back into it, because I'm Kyle's about 2 hours in. I'm about 14 or 15 hours in, because I just stopped playing for some reason. And
I'm 38 hours in.
Yeah, I fell way behind, because when I first got the game, everybody was about 6 or 7 hours ahead of me, because I work nights.
Yeah.
And by the end of my night, I was caught up to everybody.
Yeah.
Because I totally, in terms of poop socked that game. I just bum rushed it, and because it was hard to put down. Like, it literally, like they said with the Crystal Tools engine, when it goes into a cutscene, it looks like Advent Children. Granted, not as crisp, but it looked like Advent Children.
Yeah.
And so I couldn't put it down, not because of the story, but the way that the game was. Like, the battle system, early on, it's really weak. You just hit X and, whatever. But the further that you kept going, you got more stuff. Like, you get your summon battles, and you get all this other stuff, and it just completely opens up and drew me in. I could not put it down.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't been able to put it down yet. I mean, and like I said, I'm about to hit the 40-hour mark, and I'm still... every time I turn the system on, even if I only have 20 minutes, I'm like, I'll try to make it to the next save point. I haven't been this addicted to a role-playing game, I think, probably since Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah, and see, like, that's another thing that you and I talked about last weekend, though, is, like, the save points are actually pretty fairly strung out. Like, you can go, like, 13 or 15 minutes without seeing one, but it's not like Disc 3 of Lost Odyssey, where I went 4 hours without seeing one.
Yeah.
So it's definitely... It doesn't have the pick up and play element to it, but it's a lot more fair than I would expect them to do after some of the previous games they've done.
Yeah.
You got any comments or questions, Kyle?
No, I mean, none yet. I could definitely see what you guys are talking about, how beautiful it is. It's definitely caught my eye. But so far, the only thing that I've seen was the inside of that temple thing.
Yeah, and that, I think that's the area that I talked about earlier with Pete. I think you were AFK, but that's the area where I felt like I was really linear, because you're in a dungeon. Yeah,
that was super linear. It was, okay, you have 3 paths, 2 of which go nowhere, and the other one is a straight line.
Right, but you're supposed to feel linear there. But then there's other areas, like I think the chapter after that, where I didn't feel like I was stuck to a path, even though I was. I didn't get that feeling of it. And really, like, a linear game pushes you forward, but I can always go backwards at any time, too, because I kept losing my way and going back, like, 10 minutes worth of stuff.
Yeah, I did the same thing. I would get turned around and then find myself back at the beginning of a chapter and be like, whoops, I guess I was going backwards.
And probably my favorite thing that they've done, even though it kind of pisses me off at the same point, like, because I have that nature with RPGs where I want to find every little thing that I can. All you have to do is watch a mini-map and you'll see, like, the little chests, because they identify them on there.
Yeah, that's really lame. I really don't like that.
That stops at some point.
Oh, really?
Because I noticed that too in early chapters, and where I'm at now, it doesn't happen anymore. And I'm not sure at what point it switches over, but at some point they stop putting the chests on your minimap.
Yeah, it seems like the whole linear nature of the game is to get you, like, into the story and how the game works. Mm-hmm. Like how your early battles are to teach you the battle system, and then it takes a little bit step further by having to have certain requirements on bosses to, as we said, please them. And you have to use extra stuff in the battle system. It just seems like the whole, like, half of the game is like an early tutorial.
Yeah.
Is basically what I'm getting. And then it goes into the open world stuff at Chapter 11.
Yeah. Yeah, you can argue that the first 15 to 20 hours of the game are tutorial. But when you say that comes across as disparaging, because usually tutorial levels are kind of boring.
I don't think that's disparaging at all.
I loved the beginning of the game. A lot of the reviews I've read, because I didn't read any of the reviews before I got it. I didn't want to spoil anything, but since I've gotten into it, I've gone back and read them. And a lot of the reviews are like, the game sucks until you hit Chapter 11 and then it's awesome. And I didn't feel that way at all. I absolutely loved it. And when I hit Chapter 11, I was like, oh, cool, the open world stuff. But I actually decided, I was like, you know what, I'm going to do this stuff after I finish it, because I am too into this game right now. Like, I need to know where the story goes. So I decided I kept myself in the linear tube and I just skipped. I mean, I tried some of the side quests and stuff to get a feel for them, but I just wanted to keep going with the story.
Yeah, me too. I want to get back into it and keep going, because it just totally drew me in. And actually, you want to know one of the coolest things that you can do after playing the game for 14 hours or whatever? Go back and watch the international trailer that they released with that song that you didn't like. Mm-hmm. That trailer actually, now that it kind of makes sense, it's an amazing trailer. Like, I watched it the other day. I was like, holy shit, yeah. It's great, dude.
Yeah, I should check that out.
It has like a totally different feel to it now that you've actually played and know certain things about the story in the game and the characters themselves.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely pretty slick, man. This game is great. And too bad we can't say more about it because Kyle's only 2 hours in.
I know.
But the music, too, early on, like, I had the soundtrack early on, and I didn't like the music at all. I literally hated the soundtrack. But when you put it in the reference of the game...
Yeah, I love the music. I love the music. So I walk around humming it all the time. But my fiance's so sick of the soundtrack to that game.
Well, see, early on I hated it because I didn't have the reference of the characters. Like, for some reason, this game's story, you just have to know to understand everything outside of it.
Yeah.
It's really weird. But now that I know what's going on in the game, the soundtrack makes sense to me, and I really, really love it now. Like, though it lacks the traditional Final Fantasy stuff, it still has a great place to it. Like, yeah, you have the Chocobo theme, but you don't have the traditional opening that they did for Final Fantasy 1 and, all that other stuff. And I would have liked to see them get that in there. But at least Uematsu is doing the soundtrack for Final Fantasy XIV.
Yeah.
I suppose that really is all we can say about Final Fantasy until Kyle plays more.
I know. I don't have a feel on the soundtrack yet. I don't know.
You will as you go further in.
Yeah.
I'm waiting to hear fanfare every time, and it's just not there.
Well, like I said, it lacks a tradition. But in a sense, this game throws tradition out the window.
Yeah, it really does.
I think that this is kind of like an experiment to see what they can get away with. And after that, they can mold what went well with the fans in this game and then kind of put it back into the traditional style. Like how Pete said, 15 will have like the open world and the towns and all that other stuff. But hopefully they'll incorporate stuff in this that players actually accepted.
Well, I'm definitely going to play more of it, though.
Oh, you better. I'll kill you.
But,
Bioshock 2.
Yeah, Bioshock 2. It's fun. I don't...
We just had like this 15-minute or 20-minute talk of Final Fantasy, and it's like, Bioshock 2. It's a game.
Well, there's not much to talk about since it's already been said for, not Final Fantasy 1, but Bioshock 1. It is the same game. You are a different guy.
I thought you were the same guy.
No, you are a different guy because the first guy dies, no matter what.
Well, you're not even a guy per se, are you?
Well, I thought you, from what I heard, okay, I'll say what I heard on another podcast. I thought you were the same guy, but then, what is it, the plasmids or whatever? That like revived you.
No. There is the first guy you play through. I mean, you crash on Rapture, you swim down, you shoot every single person you encounter. You either save the little girls or you break their spine and harvest the Atom. But
yeah, Adam. That's what I was thinking of. I almost said Mako.
In the good ending, you flee with all the little sisters. and you die of old age. That is the ending to the
So
Bioshock
you're a pedophile?
Well, no, I mean, all the girls are grown up.
Oh.
Nice.
They're not permanently young. They age.
Oh, they've been Bioshocked.
And now, in the second one, you're a big daddy, but
Yeah, you are.
the new Andrew Ryan type person made you shoot yourself in the head, and then you were dead, and then you were alive somehow. And the little sister you were protecting is now grown up, so you're trying to find her, even though the big daddy is exhibiting an uncanny amount of intelligence versus other big daddies, and he's also super weak. Like, I'm getting shot with a pistol 3 times and I'm almost dead.
Huh. Have you played this, Pete?
I haven't.
It's like you being a big daddy has no effect on your health. It does not make any sense at all. Because a big daddy was the hardest thing to take down in Bioshock.
Those
before
things
you got
took like 5 minutes to kill in the original game.
Yeah, and then when you go against a big daddy in the game as a big daddy, it still takes forever. In fact, it takes even longer.
Could it be because, like, the further that you progress in the game, you get more abilities and stuff like that?
No, this is like the first 3 hours of the game.
Huh. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I
Like,
remember the
they-
little bit I played of Bioshock 1, it was like a 5 to 10 minute battle to take down a big daddy.
At the end, it's super easy because all you have to do is use the crossbow and lay electric tripwire, and then 6 lines of that, and the big daddies are practically dead. But
So,
it just doesn't make sense. There's a few inconsistencies in the game.
so you're not
Drive
like
me
a
crazy. And
fan of the game so far, or what?
I mean, it's fun to play, and I swear to God, if the character you play turns out to be the real life father of the little sister, and that's how they create the unbreakable bond that they keep mentioning, I'm going to be super pissed.
I couldn't tell you, but I kind of actually hope that happens now that so I can hear it.
Because
Like, I would actually like to hear you being super pissed about a game like Bioshock 2.
it's just, they keep mentioning, well, we have to figure out a way to make an unbreakable bond between the big daddies and the little sisters. And then you have, like, you have Colonel Sanders on your side as one of the
Wait.
voices.
Wait, his name is Colonel
No,
Sanders
his
in the
name's
game?
like a stupid southern name. I forgot.
Oh.
What, it's like, I don't remember it.
So you pedophiles in KFC.
It's also why does everybody have your friggin' shortwave radio frequency? Everybody tunes in. It's a pain in the ass. And then
And everybody says I hate games for minute things, right?
I know. But the doctor in the first game, like the doctor who created Little Sisters, came back. She's like, "Oh yeah, here's some vague reason as to why I'm here." Even though it's just, okay, here's some connection to the second or the first game. All the minutia is bullshit, pretty much, and it's bothering me.
But so you don't like
It's-
the game?
No, I don't like the minutia. The game is fun. I mean, you go around, you have a drill for a hand, and then you stab that in people and they die. It's
So you don't
it's
have the
pretty
wrench
good.
anymore?
Huh?
Or you don't have the wrench anymore?
No, you have no. You don't have a wrench. No, at least not that I've found. You have the weapons that I've found so far. You have the rivet gun, which shoots 3 types of rivets, which is pretty much heavy ammo, anti-personnel ammo, and trap ammo. And then the drill hand. Then I got like this massive 50 caliber machine gun, and just a few plasmids.
All right, so you're liking it, but you don't understand it.
No.
That's basically
I
what I'm getting.
understand it. It's just being stupid.
You're being stupid.
No. The game is being stupid.
You're being stupid.
Your face is being stupid.
Pete's face.
My face is always stupid.
All right, so I do have to ask you a question, like
Okay.
you really liked Bioshock 1.
Well, I liked it enough to go through it and absolutely demolish the game.
Right. And get all the achievements, blah, blah, blah. So,
Yeah.
like I said, you really liked Bioshock 1.
Yeah, it was
you didn't
fun.
have to go into that whole spiel of how
Yeah.
you really liked the game. Okay. Simple yes or no.
I did.
Uh,
I do
going
not like
back-
Bioshock 2 as much as Bioshock 1.
that wasn't my question,
Oh.
Kyle. Stop predicting the
Okay.
future. Going back into the
Prognostication.
environment of Rapture, did you get the same feeling that you did in Bioshock 1?
No, in fact, I'm like, why the fuck didn't I go through this area before?
In the first one?
In the first one. But they make, everybody's using personal bathyspheres now for travel instead of my trains, which take you to the older parts of Rapture. I'm like, shut up, train guy. I don't care.
Oh, so Bioshock 2 takes place in a different section of Rapture.
Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
it's
That's
cool because
convenient.
now you actually get to walk outside of Rapture, which is nice, and there's underwater stuff, but that doesn't really affect you because you can't really jump as a Big Daddy anyway.
But the environments are still as cool. Like,
Yeah,
I remember
the environments are still very vivid.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I remember when I played Bioshock 1, the little bit that I played, I never really beat it because I didn't really like it too much, but the environments are just really vivid. Like, there's so much detail to every little thing.
Yeah.
And, like, you have those neon lights, and that light would reflect, like, off the water on the floor and
Yeah.
everything. And it was just really cool. And, like, that right there is, like, kind of the start of my I hate this brown and gray revolution that we've started with this generation.
And another thing that pisses me off.
Oh, tell us, Kyle.
I forgot. Damn it.
You forgot.
No, because I was waiting for you to finish what you were saying, and then I started listening to you, and then I forgot what I wanted to say.
All right, why don't you try to remember?
Have you tried the multiplayer?
I have not.
I hear that it's fairly creative.
Yeah, that's also what I've heard. And I'm interested in playing that.
All right.
What the
So is
fuck did I want to say?
I don't know, but why don't you move on?
I mean, that's really it.
All right, so Final Fantasy and Bioshock. Bam. All right. Pete, what have you been up to?
Well, we've already gone over Final Fantasy.
Yeah, we love it.
Yeah, I also picked up God of War 3 this week, and
Which you haven't played.
yeah, well, I'm about an hour and a half into it or so. But I have two PlayStation 3s and a fiance who is obsessed with the God of War series. So while
It's true.
and they're both in the same room, I play on a
Oh, so you're
computer monitor.
You're seeing it, but you're not playing it.
Exactly. I've been playing Final Fantasy and then peeking over her shoulder and watching her take down all of these Greek gods, and it is visually, without question, like the most amazing video game I've ever seen.
Really?
You can definitely, there's arguments to be made, like, for art, you know, like I think that Final Fantasy XIII is a more beautiful game, has amazing artists, but the scope of the stuff that moves around on the screen, like it's amazing. You're climbing these gigantic mountains and you're on the backs of these guys that are like 100 stories tall, and they're fighting each other, and then it's just the size and scope of everything that's happening around you is unbelievable. And then when you are in a sort of closed in hallway and everything, the texture work and everything there is amazing also. It's just everything that the engine does, it does really well.
So you're saying that this is an engine that you want other developers to use as well, too?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what you could do with it that wouldn't look like it's ripping off God of War. I mean, God of War from the beginning has always sort of been about having these gigantic bosses and stuff like that. And this game just takes that to a whole new level. It's incredible. The whole time. The story is, I think, about 12 to 15 hours to beat, and in hour 12, you're still just as amazed as you were in the first hour. It's it never stops blowing your mind.
Yeah, because like as far as I know, Kyle hasn't played God of War, and I've never played a God of War either.
No, I've played bits and pieces. I played the one for the PSP. It's you mash one button, you dodge on occasion, and then you spaz out during a freaking QuickTime event.
Yeah, that explains the gameplay pretty well. I mean
and then you shit all over Greek mythology.
Yeah,
that's the gameplay.
It does that also. This one, the gameplay is a little bit more evolved, especially because of the fact that like you're climbing all over these titans that are just gigantic. It just sort of changes the way that the game plays. There's a lot of platforming. There's a lot of there's a lot of puzzle solving too. They went back. God of War 2 didn't have as much puzzle solving as the first one did, so they went back to having a lot of puzzles and stuff.
So really, for the one that finishes the trilogy, they just basically took everything that was the best from all the games and made it into the last one.
Yes,
is basically what they did.
Yeah,
that's I think the best way to do it.
I think so too. It almost makes the first two games obsolete in how good it is, and I love. I mean, I've been a huge God of War fan since the first one came out, and the first two games are amazing, and I'll always remember them. But God of War 3 almost makes them obsolete. It every aspect of the first two games is just blown out and blown up, and it's just awesome.
Yeah, like I've seen very limited stuff on the game. Basically, like I've seen the Dear PlayStation Kevin Butler commercial, and a few like animated GIFs that Mick has put up on the forums and stuff.
Yeah.
But like the little bit that I've seen, the level of detail that they have and everything within this game, there is so much detail.
Yeah.
Like that one scene or on the picture that he put up, where you grab onto the Titan's fingernail and you rip it off. That literally made me fucking cringe.
Yeah.
Because of how detailed and disgusting it was.
Yeah, it's amazing that the first time you fight a Medusa type character, like I think they're called Gorgons. I get all the names confused.
Okay, does it have snakes for hair?
Yes, snakes for hair, and it has a snake body. With a human, like with a female upper body with boobs hanging out, because God of War is all about showing boobs. The snake part of it has that, and I get my technical terms mixed up, but I think it's called bump mapping or whatever, but it's where the textures look 3D even though they're a 2D texture. Like the snake scale looked like it was all layered and scaly, and it looks so real that like snakes just give me the heebie-jeebies. When I saw it, I was like, ugh, ugh. And my fiance is the same way. She just started yelling. She was like, "It's too real! It's too real! It's too real!" And she wanted to shut her eyes, but she couldn't fight with her eyes closed. But that speaks to the level of detail. Is that the snake? If you're afraid of snakes, the snake part of this monster looks so real that it freaked us out.
Yeah, I think like I was talking to you before the show, and I was like, I have the God of War trilogy or the collection, the first two, and while I want to play them, I think I'm gonna skip them for now and go right into God of War 3, and then eventually I'll go back and play the other two. But I think story wise, I don't really care.
Exactly. The story. It basically, like Kyle just said before, it kind of just rapes Greek mythology to give your character a reason to go on a rampage.
Right. It's all about the gameplay.
Yeah.
It's about what you're doing, the action that Kratos is doing based off of the little bit of story that they threw at you. And I don't really care about the story. How many Greek gods have they killed in the first two? Are there even any left for 3?
There's a few.
Are we just talking about normal gods, or are we talking demigods? Because Zeus kind of just threw his seed to the wind, literally.
Yeah, there's a bunch of both, and anybody who dies in the God of War trilogy doesn't necessarily mean that they're dead for good. People just seem to keep coming back, and somehow. But yeah, like story wise, you don't need to worry about it. I mean, think about it sort of in terms of like Castlevania games.
Yeah. Okay.
Where even, I mean, well, Castlevania tend to have self-contained stories, but it's like Castlevania just sort of takes the lore of Dracula and does its own thing with it, and you can hop into the middle of a Castlevania. You can play the 5th Castlevania game ever made, and it's not like you're lost because you didn't play the first 4. You're not going to be lost with God of War 3. The game starts you off, and it very clearly says you want to kill Zeus. And you're like, okay, that's what I'm here for. I'm here to kill Zeus. And very early on, like this is all in the first 2 minutes, so this isn't spoilers. Zeus basically gathers up his gods like superheroes, and he's just like, go down there and kill that guy. And you're like, okay, so I'm gonna have to fight these guys to get to Zeus. And that's all you need to know.
I think story-wise, really, the only thing I would want to know, which I can look up at any time, is like why Kratos is doing this.
Mm-hmm. The backstory is kind of interesting.
Well, if I remember right from the commercials, they basically even told you, though, he was betrayed by the gods.
Yeah.
And that's why he's doing what he's doing. So I think, like, for the most part, I already know the backstory of God of War.
Yeah. They actually have this thing that is sort of comic book-esque at the beginning that sort of sums up what happened in the first 2 games.
Oh, see, there you go, right there. Like, I'll eventually play the other 2 just to say I played them. Mm-hmm. But, like, I think I am, after I get back from PAX, I think I am going to sit down with God of War 3 and just kind of poop socket.
I think you should. I think everybody should. It really is one of those games that is... It's almost an event in itself. It's like... It's this huge... Just everything about it's just crazy. It's almost like when a new Halo comes out. Like, I don't find myself to be the biggest Halo fan anymore. But, like...
Because you're not in college.
Yeah, but when Halo Reach comes out, I will get... It's just going to be an event, It's just like... And God of War is like that also. And I know you're a fan of similar but Japanese games, like Bayonetta or...
Well, actually, Bayonetta is like the first type of game in this genre that I've played. I've never played like Devil May Cry. Well, I mean, I've tinkered with it, but I never really seriously played Devil May Cry or the Castlevania attempts at it.
Yeah.
God of War, I never played. So really, like, Bayonetta is my exposure to this type of game. Mm-hmm. And from what I heard, like, Bayonetta and God of War are pretty close.
Yeah, they're similar, definitely. Yeah.
Whereas, like, Devil May Cry is more about the juggling and all that other stuff.
Mm-hmm. Except Bayonetta doesn't have a sex minigame, which God of War does have.
Yeah, but Kratos doesn't have a huge rack either.
Yeah, that's true.
So take it.
But there's plenty of other women who will show you their huge racks throughout God of War 3. There are some excellently rendered breasts in that game too. The breasts in God of War 1 and 2 were always very fake looking, but they really honed their craft in God of War 3.
I get to see these guys sitting there. What are you doing? I'm modeling some tits.
Yeah. Like,
you're missing a few polygons in this area. Oh, yeah, it looks a little bit triangle-y. There we go.
I've been working on this boob for 6 months. It's almost perfect.
They bring in Itagaki as kind of like a jiggle physics consultant. Oh, that's just wrong. But no, like, I'm definitely... I was just thinking... like last year with Uncharted 2, everybody's like, well, where can we go graphically from this? Mm-hmm. Like, we've had some amazing looking games on the 360. Like, Halo was pretty good at the time.
Yeah.
Call of Duty Modern Warfare was an amazing looking game, especially with the lighting that they did.
Yeah.
And Bayonetta was all right, but Uncharted with the huge environments and all this other stuff.
And color.
I was like, and the color, how vibrant it was, and how the transitions from cutscene to gameplay were. And I was like, where can we go with this? And then we have Final Fantasy. Mm-hmm. Again, more vibrant.
Yeah.
And better transitions. And it's a little bit more linear than Uncharted. But Uncharted was pretty linear too, if you think about it. Mm-hmm. And then now God of War, where the little bit I've seen of it, this is one of the best looking games I've seen as well. And I think it has more detail than the other two.
Yeah.
And it's just, now where can we go? I
I don't know. I have a hard time. I have a hard time believing two things. One, that there's going to be better looking games this fall than Final Fantasy or God of War 2. And two, that there's going to be better games than God of War and Final Fantasy. I mean, like they're both such amazing games. I don't know what's going to come out that's going to top either of these games for me.
Well, even if you think about it too, like Heavy Rain, in terms of like just pure graphical power, was an amazing game from what I saw of it.
Absolutely.
I haven't played it yet, but like the way the people looked in the game, they looked real. Of course, they had the uncanny valley. They looked lifeless.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I told Billy, actually, is like the Final Fantasy characters, they do a very good job of avoiding that.
Yeah.
There's always details to their face.
Stylized.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The character models in Final Fantasy are amazing. I still spin the camera around and just look at Lightning's face. Just the way that it's animated when she just stands there. It's just incredible.
Yeah, they did a very good job of avoiding that. And I just don't know where we can go from this point with games, because like the end of last year, we had some amazing stuff. And early on, like very early on this year, we've already been bombarded with 3 amazing looking games and really technical marvels if you think about it. Mm-hmm. Like, I just don't know. Like Halo Reach, like from what I heard, looks amazing. Yeah. So like I'm hoping that like that is like kind of the next step. But I don't know. You're talking a total different type of gameplay too.
It's going to be interesting. I mean, this generation just got very interesting over the past 6 months. I mean, it's been a neat generation in general, but like now with Heavy Rain is a really interesting and new kind of experience. God of War, I think, completely blows any action game before it out of the water. And everything's going to come back and equal it too. Like it makes me more excited about the next Devil May Cry, the next Bayonetta, the next Ninja Gaiden, because all of those games are going to have God of War 3 as a guide.
They're going to have to.
And it's just going to make those games better. And this generation just got real interesting.
Well, if you think about it, though, early on this generation, like the games looked good, but they didn't look like what we're seeing now.
Yeah.
And that's mainly because everybody was using the Unreal Engine 3.
Yeah.
And while that's a good engine, but the problem is nobody tried to step it up. Mm-hmm. They used that engine because it was readily available, and easy to pump games out on.
Yeah.
Nobody tried to create their own custom stuff. And Final Fantasy took a long time, and God of War took a long time. Mm-hmm. All these games took some time to build, but these are on completely custom engines.
Yeah.
And now we're seeing the fruits of their labor.
Yep.
And if more companies are taking their time to come up with these engines and the more detail, like Naughty Dog loves to create custom things and release it out to their partners throughout their PlayStation family. Mm-hmm. I can't wait to see what these other guys are doing with it.
Yeah.
Vote no more Unreal Engine 3, people. We don't need it.
No, we don't. Everything was so like shiny and watery looking, but at the same time just brown and gray. It
looked dead.
Yeah.
So now that we've kind of creamed ourselves a little bit, you got anything else?
That is pretty much it. I do want to give a quick shout out to the Xbox Live Arcade / PSN game, Greed Corp. If there's any turn-based strategy fans out there that have been thinking about buying that game and are on the fence, I highly recommend it. It's the best turn-based strategy game on either system, and I still I play it every day. I play at least a level of it, which takes only about 5 to 10 minutes, but I love that game.
I'm actually kind of surprised Kyle hasn't gotten it yet, because he does if I recall, he does like the turn-based strategy games.
I do like them a lot, but I just really haven't had the money to put out for that sort of stuff.
Well, when you get it, I get the money. I'd highly suggest it. It's the art is really cool, the music is awesome, and the gameplay is just it's fast, but it's very strategic, and it's awesome.
Yeah, I'm going to be torn between that and Perfect Dark.
Yeah, I was planning on picking up Perfect Dark this week, and I decided to hold off, but I will be getting that soon for sure.
I totally forgot about Perfect Dark. It's too many fucking games.
Yes.
Exactly.
Really, like this year is.
Any other March, I'd have Perfect Dark on day one, and I would be starved to play it. And right now, it's just like I'll get to it in like 3 weeks when I'm done with Final Fantasy and I'm done with God of War and I'm done with all these other games.
Yeah, and to think about, like, next week my year kind of ends because then I get Super Street Fighter 4. Mm-hmm. I'm not like I'm trying to fit in like Heavy Rain and God of War, but like the whole thing is I wanted to play God of War Final Fantasy first.
Yeah,
because that's the one that I know I'll have the most love for. Mm-hmm. So,
and you always do 2 playthroughs, don't you, of Final Fantasy games?
Every Final Fantasy game, I always do 2. So
you're good for it. If you do side quests with both, you're good for like 120 hours or so. With
I'm
Final
pretty
Fantasy.
fucked, is what it is.
Yeah.
All right, I guess it's time for me. Yeah, so we talked about Final Fantasy already several times. I finally picked up Mega Man 10, Kyle.
And how do you feel about it?
The music is terrible. Oh, I'm so disappointed in the music. Because Mega Man has historically always had really great music. Even on the limitations of the NES, it really has these catchy songs.
Yeah.
And this one here, it like does a couple good songs, but otherwise, like, it is so bad. I was so let down by that. But I did end up beating it twice. I actually beat it twice on easy mode to see how it was. And my normal playthrough on the normal difficulty, I'm just near the end. But I wanted to try it on easy because I was actually talking to Pete and Billy when I was playing it because they asked me how it would be. And easy mode is actually. I wouldn't say it's too easy, but it's
stupidly easy.
It holds your no. It doesn't. It's not stupidly easy. It actually is. It has a bit of a challenge to it, but it does hold your hand a little bit. Like you know how there's some parts where you'll fly down from the bottom, and there'll be like a pit of spikes there that you didn't realize. There'll actually be something covering those, like a little platform.
So pretty much it takes all the cheap shots out of the game.
In a way, yeah, it really, like, it does guide you a lot more. But there is still a bit of a challenge to it. Like, on easy mode, I beat the game in under an hour. So...
Which is a trophy.
Which was a trophy, yes. You would totally know that. Mm-hmm. Actually, Pete, you played it on easy mode.
I did, yeah.
And you're not the biggest Mega Man fan around.
No. I mean, I loved Mega Man when I was a kid. And back when I used to be good at video games. But as I grew up, you know, like I hadn't played a Mega Man since then. And I haven't kept my stick skills up to that level, so to speak. So easy mode is perfect for people like me who want to relive some nostalgia but don't want to get their face beaten in. Like, I remember buying Super Ghosts and Goblins on the PSP, and because I loved that game when I was a kid, and I got it on the PSP and it just beat the crap out of me. You know, and
Ghosts and Goblins is notoriously difficult. Like, even I have a hard time with it.
But like, you know, as a kid, it was difficult then, but I was more up to the challenge back then. But as an adult, I couldn't handle how difficult it was. So this is cool that it lets me, you know, relive some of the nostalgia, and it also holds my hand and doesn't beat me up for not being as uber as I was when I was 9. Really,
that's all that matters, is you're getting the experience out of it without the frustration.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I'm very happy. It was $10 well spent. I'm really happy with that game.
Right. I think, Kyle, you should pick it up, man. This could be like the first Mega Man game that you beat.
Asshole.
It's not hard, man. I'm telling you. It's really good.
But it's not the same.
Look, accept the fact that you're not going to beat Mega Man on hard mode.
Well, I'm not going to beat it on hard mode, but I'm going to
All right,
maybe
normal.
beat it on normal mode.
Except the fact that you won't.
Maybe you should shut up.
I'm trying to guide you here, Kyle. I'm trying to look. The game is actually really fun on easy mode because like I just pissed right through it, and I actually had a lot of fun. But like, you get to beat up sheep, man. Who doesn't want to beat up a sheep?
There's robots that throw baseballs.
Yeah, Strike Man, Critical Strike Man.
They're
But
not
no,
even
Mega Man
trying
10,
with
like-
the bosses.
It has a lot of cool new things to it. Like, there's some stuff where there's these blocks that you fall on, and then they'll disintegrate over time, and then you fall on more, and they'll disintegrate, and you got to kind of like come up with a pattern so you don't land on the spikes on the bottom as they break apart.
Yeah, that was really cool.
And then you have those ones, the enemies that you really love, Pete, the ones that like draw the square.
Yeah.
They're like arrows, but they draw a square, and then what they draw will be like a set of blocks that come flying towards you and attack you.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like a little mouse pointer is drawing the enemy on the screen, and then it flies out. It's awesome.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool new things that they brought to it, and I was actually quite surprised with how good the game was beyond the music. Mm-hmm. The music was just terrible, and the Wily bosses were nice.
Yeah, I haven't made it that far yet.
You will eventually. It's just easy mode is something that's so great that you can just chip away at it and not like be bullshit with it. Like, everybody thought that I would be looking down on everybody who plays on easy mode, and I was like, no, why? They're playing a Mega Man game. That's awesome.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
don't care
if they got rid of normal and hard and made it just easy, then I could see complaining about it. But keeping the original difficulty and then including more people, like old guys like me, allowing us to play it too. I mean, it's a good move.
Oh, that's a very smart move, yeah. And like they did it with Bionic Commando Rearmed. What's the difference? You know? I definitely support it. That was really cool. And you and I played Starcraft 2. Mm-hmm. And we played against the computer. And really, like, apparently, like, the beta only has very easy for the computer mode.
Yeah.
Your ass is handed to you?
No.
No, very easy is in fact very easy.
Okay.
Yeah, it was basically like, let's sit. Both of us are sitting here building for like 15 minutes, and it looks like the computer did nothing.
Yeah.
Like, it occasionally sent over like a quick scout. Mm-hmm. But that was really it. Like, it
was.
I was kinda,
the computer actually attacked you or your little satellite base a couple times, only with like 2 or 3 guys. But it was funny because he was only attacking you. They never touched my base.
See, I thought they attacked you and not me. Because remember I said I just protected you?
Yeah, maybe that's what it was. Maybe they were you were intercepting them before they were getting to me.
Yeah, because your little base was right next to my secondary one. But yeah, either way, they never went after me or like the other one. They were always after like one of us, but never the either or, which was weird because it was 2 computers against 2 of us, and like it just seemed like they did nothing. Like they built, but I think very easy is kind of really wimp mode.
Yeah, it is.
But that game, dude, is like I couldn't believe what was those big fucking like mech guys that you built.
The Thors.
There was so much detail on those.
Yeah, and they have Arnold's voice, which if I could do a good Arnold impersonation, I would, but I can't. But it's hysterical. Every time you order them around, they're just like, yeah, okay, yeah, I can't do it.
What are they called?
Thors. They're huge. They're just like giant mechs that take up like a good portion of the screen.
Yeah, like you remember the carriers from StarCraft 1, right, Kyle? Okay, they're about the size of a carrier.
Oh,
Yeah.
Jesus.
But they're on land.
Yeah, like because I was the Protoss and he was the Terran, and like I at the end of the game we're like, okay, well we might as well fucking finish this because the computer's not going to do shit.
Yeah.
So like here I come with like a fucking fleet of carriers, and here Pete comes with a fucking fleet of Thors.
I found a video with the voice.
It was kind of embarrassing. Like if I was a computer, I would have killed myself right then. Actually,
Yeah.
but no, like that game online it's very slick. It plays very well, actually, especially for a beta. And I actually got a code to give the beta out to somebody, which I actually did already. I probably should have given it to Kyle.
Sorry. I've been listening to all
You're
the...
just bringing it up now to rub it in his face.
Yeah, I didn't think of it because, like, I said on Twitter, man, I got a code for the Starcraft beta, and I was like, I could sell this for like $300, or I can give it to somebody. And then Greg from the Megas was like, oh, I'll take it, man. I really want in the beta. I was like, all right, I'll give it to him because the Megas have always been pretty good with us, and so I wanted to give him something because actually, like 2 days before that, when I was talking about doing the all band critical music. I asked him, is it all right if I use one of your songs on the critical music? And he said, you took us out to Denny's. You can use that music for whatever you want.
Nice.
I was like, that's pretty fucking awesome.
I think he just gave us full range.
Right. So I was like, oh, man,
Denny's
this guy's
will do that.
Time to mix in the Megas in the back of porn.
So, yeah, like I was like, all right, I'm going to give them the StarCraft 2 beta because we've always had a pretty cool relationship with them, and I actually have to hopefully, like, maybe we could set up a game with like Greg, myself, and Pete. Like, we'll just go at it.
Yeah,
That'd be fun.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a big fan of playing against people, but very easy. It was just kind of too easy to play online. Like, we could have probably finished it within 5 minutes.
Jesus Christ, those things are massive.
They are, dude, and the level of detail in that game, like I said on the last episode, and Pete said it before. If you're watching a video of the game, like on Ustream or whatever, you don't see it all.
No, you don't see the detail at all. But when it's on your very crisp computer monitor, everything is animated so fluidly. It's amazing.
Yeah, that game, I cannot wait for it to come out. It better be soon. Actually, no, it better not be soon because I have too many other things to play.
Yeah.
But it better be readily available when I'm done God of War 3.
I'd say midsummer will be perfect for it.
I think that's what they're aiming for because, because I think the Cataclysm beta is going to be starting right as the StarCraft one ends, from what I'm hearing. And hopefully I get into the Cataclysm beta too. Like, there's a project that I want to actually do where my character in World of Warcraft, I'm going to ride around the world filming everything that I see without using my character, actually. But because I want to document the way it is right now. Because it's not going to be the same after Cataclysm.
Yeah.
The world is destroyed. That way, like, I can always be like, oh, man, I remember that place, Because I have so many fucking memories in that game.
I remember the inn that they were fixing the roof for 4 years straight, and the roof never got fixed.
Hammerfall. Yeah, like, all the places in, like, Western Plaguelands and Eastern Plaguelands, like, all of that is destroyed. So I kind of want to make a little film that I can go back and see, like, what I played for 4 years.
Put some sappy music on there, like that Time of Our Life Green Day song or whatever.
Put Peter Gabriel. And I remember. No. All right. So, yeah, I think that's pretty much it for me. I mean, we talked a lot about Final Fantasy. I'm not going to really go into it anymore. We did get an iTunes review, and it's from Mr. Face Puncher, which... I don't know. I think that has something to do with what he wants to do to Kyle. But
why has it always got to be me? Maybe he just doesn't like you.
No, he actually loves us both, Kyle. He actually, really though, his review says he got into the show because of critical music. So that means he loves me more.
Asshole.
I'm just saying. But no, thank you for the review. And
yeah, seriously, thank you.
We would love it if more people would leave us iTunes reviews.
Yes, and, leave us as many as you can. One.
Kyle, how can they get in contact with us if they want?
Well, there are a few ways, and you always make me do this, Josh.
Well, look, I do the whole show. Well, you can do this one thing.
Fine. All right, I'll do this for you, Josh. First, you can call us and leave us a voicemail using our voicemail line, which is 909-C-STRIKE. Josh, rattle off those numbers.
I don't have them up right now.
Okay, so it's 909-C-STRIKE. The second is to send us an email at cstrikepodcast@gmail.com. And the final way is Twitter, which is @CriticalStrike.
Yeah, and I'm Nisaro on Twitter, and Kyle is KR Dumond, and Pete is Pete_Dodd.
That's very original, Pete.
Yeah, so do us a favor, check out our friends at the PSNerds, where Pete comes from.
Yeah. We will also be doing live shows on Gamer Corp.
Starting this week, right?
Yeah, this Wednesday will be our first one.
Oh, it's nice. Gamer Corp, not Gamer Core.
It's Gamer Corporation. Gamer Corp for short.
Yeah, we wish you guys luck with that.
Thanks. Yeah, it's going to be an adventure.
You guys will be fine.
When do you guys go on?
We will be on at 9 Eastern, I believe.
Yes, I think so.
When?
Yeah.
Wednesday.
Yeah,
I think we're doing the whole thing with a video feed. So Billy, I'm sure, will be flashing one of his 47 guns.
And you'll be flashing...
I don't know. I'll bring some stuffed monkeys or something to put in front of the camera.
Kratos is like, wee, look at me.
Yeah.
Dude, will people be able to pop on video?
I don't know. I'm not the technical guy. You'll have to ask Josh that, because he's our technical guy.
Yeah, apparently I'm the technical guy for the PSNerds, and I have nothing to do with the show. But that's all right. That's what friends are for.
You're why we exist.
That's not true at all. Don't say that.
You're why we still exist.
Yeah, don't say that either. So yeah, I guess that would wrap it up. We'll see you in 2 weeks. I'm going to PAX next week. I still haven't decided yet if I kind of want to make myself known. Like, there's a lot of people like, oh, we can go to dinner and blah, blah, and it's like, I don't know. I might just kind of not be like, hey, I'm Josh. What's up?
Yeah.
We'll see.
That's creepy.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to, like, there's a few people that I want to hang out with. Like, I want to hang out with the guys from the Player One board and, like, the Rumble Pack and Gamer Husbands and stuff. But I'm still not sure, like, you know, because I'm kind of a private guy beyond doing a podcast. So we'll see. I think either way it'll be fun. That way I can say I've been to the first PAX. Like, I don't know if I'll go next year, but at least I can say I've been to PAX.
Well, if you do hang out with them, you don't have to show them your penis.
Oh, see, that's where I was having that problem.
Yeah,
like,
see, I told you, Josh.
Everybody I meet, I always show them my penis.
Yeah. You don't have to.
Okay.
Just remember that.
Thanks for clearing that up. All right, we'll be back in 2 weeks. Thank you for listening, and goodbye.
Goodbye. That was anticlimactic.